Thank you all for over 180 subscribers. And more importantly, thank you all for 10,000 views on the deltarune analysis video. Wow, this is an honor. I never thought I'd get this far, not even for a second. And to celebrate, I'm going to do what I like to call the Andrew Cunningham. I'm starting a Patreon where you can give me your hard-earned money for very little. You won't get much, but you can do it if you want. Truly revolutionary, I know. But in all seriousness, if you donate to the Patreon, you'll get shoutouts at the end of videos and a Patreon role in the new Discord server, which is in the description. You don't have to pay to get into the Discord, but you'll get a special little badge that shows that you're willing to give me your money. You may be wondering what the Patreon money will be going towards. So, here's the deal. First and foremost, the money in the Patreon will go to funding the secret project, which I have had on the back burner for about a month now. And we'll need some extra funding. I can't reveal what it is yet, but just so you know, it's not deltarune related. But I think it's going to be quite great. But just don't expect anything from it for a while, alright? Up next would be just improving the quality of videos. Just giving me, the more you give, the more time I'm able to dedicate to videos. Which means the videos will be better and will come out faster. Thirdly, that's it, really. So yeah, you can donate if you want, but you don't have to, I guess. I'd appreciate it though. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into the real reason why you're here. This video serves as a sort of addendum to my previous analysis of deltarune through a queer lens. There was actually a surprising amount of honest discussion happening in the comments, which is surprising since it's a YouTube comment section. I mean, of course, there were a few persistent, annoying comments, but other than that, there was a surprising amount of honest, open discussion, engaging with my analysis and adding to it, or even, well, criticizing it, which I welcome. So, I'd like to dedicate this video to everyone who commented in the last one. To start off, I want to give a special thanks to Call Are You Doing, who actually got pinned, is the pinned comment in the last video, who wrote a very illuminating comment. It goes, I absolutely love this reading, and I think it also fits in with the more general reading of finding solace and friendship in stories worlds created, but not getting too lost in them. The Undertale fandom was literally the first place I heard about non-binary people. Games and cartoons helped me find and accept my identity, and also connected me with some of my closest friends. My own little dark world. First of all, let me just say, same in every single aspect. I could have written this tonight. Is this me from another universe? Perhaps. Who knows? But really, there's a very specific reason why I want to talk about this one, and it's the specific concept about dark worlds being fiction interacts with this reading. You see, when you're queer, it's hard to find a character that you truly connect with, because, well, to be honest, characters just aren't made with you in mind. When you watch something, or when you create your own stories, your queer experiences find their way in, they seep in. When you're just watching a show, and you see a character and you connect with them, pun incoming, this queer connection, I'm so funny. But it's true, really. Not only that, but dark worlds could also be analogous to fandom. And as this comment already stated, fandom itself is a sort of open space for queer people to, well, be queer. Get a lot of reasons why. Well, first and foremost, I really don't want to get too deep into this, but they give a sort of freedom of expression that you don't normally get in real life. Well, I mean, I'm sure the people watching this will understand. You're probably as great and rotten as a dying cicada, but the truth is, fandom is a very special thing. Even people may think of it and they see it's just a cringe thing, but that's just because they aren't analyzing their own fandom. Everyone has a fandom. Everyone has something they're a fan of, something they connect with other people about. For some people, it's media, games, films, comic books, regular books. For some, it's sports. Some people really like football, I think. For other people, it could be, I don't know, work, if you're insane. But this sort of comfort people get from fandom, there's something very, well, it's very dark worldy, isn't it? You get a world made for you, and it brings you joy, but you can't spend too much time in it, and you have to come back at the end, regardless. And furthermore, if we look at Ralsei again through this lens, even the media we're a fan of, the media we consume and we connect to, even it in some ways manifests our confed side, our insecurities in some way, whether intentionally, unintentionally. Sometimes you just can't escape how the media reinforces our expectations. Let me give you an example. The final Harry Potter book. I know it's a weird tangent. It has an ending that I always found strange. I don't remember if it's in the book, but I remember in the movie where every major character is paired up. They're married and they have kids, and they're sending them all to Hogwarts. I hope this isn't spoilers. Harry Potter came out like 15 years ago, and yeah, that's strange, isn't it? Especially if you're queer or like just generally don't see yourself with a family in the future. Here it is, media, something you really connect to, and it's coming up to you and saying, "See this? This is the happy ending. This is how you're expected to feel joy in the end. This is how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to feel happy. This should make you happy." Moving away from that particular aspect, Dark Worlds as a sort of getaway or a fantasy from reality, it really works out when you consider stuff like Castletown. Chris's room in Castletown, like I said, with the trans-ass flavor text, it allows Kris to live out their fantasy, or in some way at least. And Castletown in particular, it's a dark world you keep coming back to. It's supposedly the original, or it has some sort of special power. It stands eternal at the top of the kingdom. It's Dark Fountain, at least. So, we all got that one fandom right, that one particular interest that just sticks, and it feels, well, more important than any other. And we always keep coming back to it, and it makes us feel safe and comfortable, and that's our Castletown. Let me give an example. For me, something I'd consider my Castletown, at least at the moment, is Deltarune and Undertale. Their worlds give me much joy and comfort, and I see myself in a lot of the characters. There's that special connection I mentioned, and I just think that's all wonderful. I hadn't considered this aspect of the reading before this comment, so I just want to give a big thanks to Ka Are You Doing for leaving this enlightening comment. Now, moving on to my next point, I got about like 7 or 8 comments just about how much people related to the reading. We have, I'm not gonna like name everyone, but they'll show up on screen. Here's Bam, Poom, Pow, Karapoompa, Shlapoompa. Wow, look at all these people that said the reading was relatable to them, because they were trans or neurodivergent, or that it really changed the way they saw deltarune. Thank you all for your comments. They're one of the nicest ones. I love when people get this sort of emotional connection to something I make, and well, I'm just glad I was able to communicate what I saw, as well as I was seemingly able to for these people. Moving on, this part's going to be the interesting part. There's two more things I want to talk about, and they're somewhat related, so let's get on that. Firstly, we have Neon Utterpop, who mentions the implications of the possible church Dark World and the religious undertones of deltarune, and I just want to say thank you a lot for this comment. And yeah, you're right. The religious imagery could almost certainly be intended. Now, of course, we don't know too much about Toby himself and his upbringing and stuff. Judging from Hometown, and specifically about the angel religion and how he made a suburban town have a giant church in it. I think that's very telling, but of course I don't want to make judgments. So I do think that there will be, well, that's a bit too broad to say. I don't think he'll make some sort of comment on religion and how, ooh, religion is bad, or ooh, right, actually religion is good, okay. I don't think that's his style. I do think he'll tackle how religion can be used as sort of escapism, as a way to avoid your problems, because every other Dark World seems to be about escapism. But relating this back to the reading, it could certainly be interesting where he takes it, how the religious Dark World, how that religious Dark World could be portrayed and could affect Kris and Susie and Noelle, and yeah, just that sort of stuff. I find that very interesting. It could go in a lot of ways. Solita Shoshi, I hope I pronounced that right, has asked specifically for an analysis of the Snowgrave route, and I shall provide it. So, off the cuff, let's go. I'm unscripted. I don't know if you noticed, but this entire video has been unscripted. Pretty much, I feel like there is some intent behind the Snowgrave route, like to make it even more viscerally disturbing. As I said, it does have those certain undertones of, well, obviously the abusive relationship, but also forcing the queer kids into a conflict relationship that neither of them really want. There's obviously that, but obviously you can't ignore the big elephant in the room, which is the snow ring and is it the snow ring or is it the ice ring? Whatever. Snow ring, I think. And the thorn ring, which are so blatant in their symbolism that, okay, so thorn ring, it's a mixture of like the Christian like crown of thorns, like punishment for like a messiah, which is more with Noelle being the angel, but that's a whole other thing. But there's obviously, since they're rings, it's wedding rings. Again, back to religion, we got marriage, that's a religious thing. I mean, I guess kind of partly. Definitely partly in this context. Especially in the manner of this analysis. A wedding ring that hurts you, you can't get a more literal symbolic representation of like a harmful marriage or like love relationship than that. That's about as blatant as any human being could ever make it. Other than that, it's mostly just vibes, I think. I think most people would agree. That's just the kind of feeling you get. I think that's what it's going for. I don't have all that much evidence outside of the snow ring and obviously the parallels of forcing these two kids together when clearly neither are really interested. And well, that brings us back to, well, this was a very big sticking point in the video, which is The Solar Society by Will Smith. Yes, the actor. That's hot. That's hot. Yeah, that one. He says a lot of things. It's a very long comment. But he basically just says that the soul being society doesn't really make sense from what I understand, because, well, the soul can do stuff that wouldn't be socially acceptable, like commit murder and eat moss. So, and I will concede that is a very good counter argument. But again, I never thought this was meant to be, well, intended at all. For me, it all started when I was writing Red Strings. It was just kind of the vibe I got from the metaphor that I was making there. That it was just like this controlling force making Kris act as they're supposed to act in a certain way. And I think that's further emphasized in the Snowgrave route. Obviously, again, I'll reiterate, this is definitely not intended on Toby's part, but in the specific context of the reading, that's really the only thing the Sooo could represent, and I do think it makes sense, particularly if you focus on the Snowgrave route, because even if you're going to be doing a lot of fucked up stuff, it's all really, from what I understand, if I'm understanding Toby's intent, communicating the Snowgrave route to us, it's all to force these two kids together, like romantically, and that's what's like, Noelle will ride with me. That's always what hardest about that. It's not the killing of birds, even though that is kind of cool, pun intended. No, it's that one line, Noelle will ride with me. It's not even proceed, it's just that one. That one always struck powerfully. And I can't explain why other than just, this analysis. Because, yeah, you're just... I'm probably not communicating my thoughts very well, but it doesn't matter. I'm not really doing a weird, thorough analysis anymore. This is just a off-the-cuff addendum to the previous video. I'm also kind of sick, so that's why my voice probably sounds off. But, yeah, I think I talked about basically everything I wanted to. There's very little from the last video that I feel that still needs to be addressed. I think I feel like I've talked about everything I really wanted to. So, before I close this off, I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon now. But not only that, I also have a Discord server, which you can join through the link in the description. And that's all I wanted to say for now. Just once again, I want to thank everyone for subscribing and watching the video and leaving a like and leaving a comment and sharing your thoughts. It was all... I never expected it to hit so many people and hit them so hard, so... yeah, that's it. I hope you all have a good one, and it's almost Christmas, so I hope you have some happy holidays.